Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we are preparing for Game 2 of Wildcard versus AOE. The battle for seeding in playoffs continues in Wildcard with that win. We had already done the math. It was guaranteed that they were going to make it in, but this is now double guaranteed they're going to make it in, as it is possible for them to have less game wins than any of the teams that are still trying to fight to get out of that promotion tournament. So kudos to them, and they might even be able to take a quick series here, Joshi, because that looks dominant in Game 1.
Yeah, it didn't really feel as though AOE really knew how to react to a lot of the moves. The biggest thing is that Onat, who has kind of been one of the stars for AOE, was not able to beat out Darkwings, and Zamudo, another player who we oftentimes look to on AOE to find them their wins, was just getting blasted by the fact that Quacker on the Udyr up on the top side just seemed to have his number and was winning that lane really handily. So, honestly, I don't know if the draft was really the problem. I actually just need to look to the AOE members to do better than what we saw in the first game, to live up to our expectations, and I think that'll give them an opportunity to at least take us to a Game 3.
It was a solid start for Wildcard, but the biggest catalyst for that game to really open up was Quacker's roam bot side. We saw AOE go for an invade. It felt good. It felt like a right time to do so. They're trying to punish. They have level 6s on Wixie and Rosethorn, but then they're like, wait a minute. Why is the enemy top laner joining in our invade fight at enemy bot side jungle? So Quacker's, just presence being there completely turned that play around and got Wildcard a massive lead, specifically Aaron in the bot side, because then he was 3-1 going back into laning phase. So I think that AOE, I agree that it wasn't necessarily the champs they locked in, but it was more so how they played out the game and how Wildcard was able to bounce back and answer.
Yeah, I really want to continue seeing this style of Wildcard throughout the rest of the season, going towards playoffs, because now we know, we already said, based on how the previous series have gone, Wildcard and AOE are definitely going to be making it there. I want to see more of this pressure style coming through from Wildcard. I want to see more of this you can't do anything style instead of just out-and-out brawling. And I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to try things a little bit further. You know you're making it to playoffs. You've already picked up the first game. And it doesn't really matter if you lose this next one. You have an opportunity to try and continue to play this style and make sure that AOE is going to be stuck in the bottom half of the standings.
And if we look at how far Wildcard could rise potentially, because they're out of the conversation of, is there any chance that they get knocked out into that promotion relegation tournament? They're in playoffs. Now we think, well, where could they potentially swing in playoffs at this point? If they can 2-0 this, their final round opponent is Supernova, who is currently 5-2 in series score. Wildcard would be 4-4 going into that. Wildcard, if they take that, 5-4, Supernova would then be 5-3, and Supernova's last opponent's FlyQuest. That's the hardest opponent you can have. So there's a legitimate chance that Wildcard could actually skyrocket up, depending on how their split ends, to get into that top 3 picture, which is kind of crazy to think about, considering where they had been for most of the split.
Yeah, and it really goes to show how competitive all of our collegiate teams really are. I feel as though Maryville is kind of a shoo-in for a lot of people's top dog, but SLU, who has 4 members on this roster, is not far behind them. And as we get into our second pick ban of the day, and potentially Steve's last one of the regular season, we will have an opportunity to see, once again, all the Fearless bans do mean we said Dark was going to get his Azir at least one time. You already got it. Now you have to find something else.
That was instant gratification.
There we go.
That bet that you made. Although it is pretty obvious, Wildcard, whenever it's up, they will lock that in for Darkwings, which maybe can be seen as a crutch, though, because now on Red's side, if, say, a blue one, Orianna, or something like that comes out for AOE, it can really limit the champ pool that Darkwings will then have in his back pocket. But so far, it's actually the Darius focus. They're taking that away from Quacker, because he does love to play this one. Interesting, very early ban. Which signals maybe they go for a top laner in the first 3 picks if they're so concerned about Darius in the first rotation.
Yeah. I do want to point out one of the stats that you were looking at before. We know that Lit loves playing red side. They played way more red side games, but Wildcard, they do have a slight preference for blue side, but they are 4-4 on the red side, which, the script really is just that easy.
Bet.
Everything's a 50-50 for Wildcard. Are you going to win or are you going to lose? The same thing on blue side. They were 5-4. Now they are 6-4 on the blue side after that last game. And so Wildcard do have a lot of opportunity to kind of showcase that they are a little bit better. It's a weighted coin. You will have a little bit more opportunities to get the right heads flipping every single time.
Well, I'm going to say if it's 50-50 every time, they're going to lose this game, but it can't end pure 50-50 because it's a 3-game series. So they're going to have to either end with one more win or one more loss.
That's true.
Well, hopefully two more wins for them.
Game 3, frame perfect, both Nexuses explode at the exact same time.
Oh, could you imagine? There's actually something baked into League that nobody's seen before. Draw.
That would be hilarious.
Victory or defeat.
That would be the most iconic thing I've ever seen in a game of League of Legends. I actually don't know like what would happen if it died like frame perfect, but either way, we do have Orianna coming in for the first pick, coming in for Ona. It is just a very strong champion in general, and I actually kind of wonder, Darkwings also likes playing things like the Aryan, since it has been played by AOE already. I almost said it's been played by Kangas already, because your name is right there next to the Ari photo. I immediately was like, I think this is Darkwing's opportunity to turn things around. You play Victor. Victor Main is a strong word.
It's my most played this season, but yes, I will agree.
Really?
But this is what I was talking about, right? Like the Darkwings champ pool limitation now, you take away the big other champion that Darkwings leans towards. If it's not Azir, if it's not Orianna, I'm struggling to remember offhand. I don't have the stats in front of me. I don't know if you do and you can help me out with it, but I don't remember like kind of what that third string mid laner is. Maybe Nico?
Victor.
Thinking as like some of the other ones?
It's
Victor?
Victor is his third most played after Orianna and Azir.
I can talk about Victor.
We can.
Let's go.
There you go. It also happens to have been my most played for 2 seasons, so we'll have an opportunity to talk about it a little bit. But either way,
I no longer want to talk about Victor because you're going to correct me on a lot of things.
You know, you played it more this year than I have, that's for sure. But either way, we do have the bars coming through, and I am a little bit surprised to see the Lucian come through. Not because it's not something that Aaron plays, it is actually his second most played, but just because it doesn't seem to be nearly as strong at this point in the meta, because you do have to get in under Orianna's Shockwave, you do have things like the Nautilus that are going to be coming through, and with the bars still available, or never mind, it was not available to Wildcard. Okay, it makes a little bit more sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, now is the test though. Do we just go for the Melio right now? That is the standard pairing with the Lucian. I feel like you kind of have to, unless maybe the crazy idea of flexing it into that Orianna instead. I was considering like would Darkwings play it, but no, the Melio makes me think it's gonna be the Lucian bot lane.
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen the Lucian mid anywhere this year, which is not particularly surprising, but this is the most common pairing, or one of the most common pairings that we see coming out from Wildcard. Melio plus something. It's sometimes the bars, sometimes the Lucian. You have a lot of tools, and I really like seeing Doxa on the Melio. It is a character where he has a lot of freedom to kind of react to different things, and he's actually been pretty good about using the soccer ball to kick different things away. And in this Nautilus matchup, that is exactly what you want to be doing.
Yep. It's a fantastic disengage tool, especially when you think of the junglers that Orianna likes to pair with. Even like Nocturne to an extent. You're able to Breath of Life his fear if he gets onto your AD carry, and if he gets onto you, well, then your AD carry can just blow him up. So honestly, you're kind of fine there as well. Let's see what the option is for AOE. Right now, it's an Udyr ban from Wildcard. They can also ban out the Nocturne if they really want to. It's like kind of the premier combo with Orianna that we've seen, but it has been falling in some priority. They have people have been labbing and finding other combos to put with that Orianna.
Yeah. Said it will be the Rumble ban. Now, we still don't know exactly where this Volibear is going. One of the things that is nice about picking it relatively early is you can use it as a semi-flex. You don't need to send it either top or in the jungle, and you do have the freedom to put it where you feel like you need to, and I do really like having this with players like Quacker on your team, because you know Quacker likes to play just like Dragoon before him. They both love playing these Juggernaut style of characters, and they will both bring out the Darius, they will both bring out lots of different variety of picks, and now with this Cassante ban, which I don't understand on 14.4, but it is still the kind of pick where you know that you still have a ton of flexibility. I actually feel like we should pick a mid laner here to guarantee this Volibear gets the matchup that it wants.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. We see the Orianna, so just grab whatever we want to play into that Orianna. We can save that Volibear flex to the last moment. There's the Hui, makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, some scaling in the mid lane can maybe struggle to have priority in lane early on. I would give the advantage to the Orianna for the earlier levels. Once Wei gets enough items, he can melt waves, but can struggle to get to that point earlier in the game.
That's really good.
But now AoE is going to have to guess where the Volibear is going and what they want to put Zamudo on.
Yeah, I think Zamudo, by default, his favorite champion is something like the Gragas. That is what he did really kind of make a name for himself in summer 2023. I would not be surprised if something similar came through because you already have lots of tools to create a strong front line. I really like the Xin Zhao just in general, even though it's become a little bit less popular with a small nerf on the last patch. The big thing about this character is ranged champions don't get a hit it. Wei is not going to be doing damage to Xin Zhao as long as the ultimate is still up, and it means that everybody else has to be a little bit more careful. But with this Poppy coming through, an interesting pick going to be happening here for the top lane.
Gwen for Quacker?
Gwen is cool. I
like Gwen into Poppy. I mean, like, Poppy can stop one of your dashes, but it's still, like, doesn't have a lot of defensive tools outside of that. You can blank the Keeper's Verdict if you're outside of the range, and then just get on top of the Poppy afterwards with your needlework.
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
Renekton instead.
I was thinking about it because I was looking. I have his champion pool up right now, right? Cassante has been his most played with Udyr and Olaf following, and then like one of a bunch of things. And the Twisted Fate, almost all of his champion pool has been picked or banned so far. So let's see. Cassante, banned. Udyr, already played. Olaf, banned. Darius, banned. Twisted Fate, banned. So all he had left that he had already played this split were Malphite and Renekton. Meaning that of those two, they both kind of suck into Poppy, right? Poppy just out-brawls both of them, and Renekton relies so much on the Renekton relies so much on the slice and dice, and you stop that really easily with the steadfast presence because you can do it late. If he dashes through you, you still have time to do it until he has finished the dash in order to get that damage off, and you ground him so he can't use a second slice and dice immediately afterwards. And it really sets up a really strong pick. I really like this pick for Zamudo. Now we actually have to see him execute on it.
Interesting choice for Wildcard, maybe limited by champion pool. And remember, this is the developmental league. Not everyone can play every single champion at the top level. It can come down to what they are comfortable with in the moment. And also, maybe it is just a read. Quacker saying, I got it like that, and I can actually win this 1v1. Either way, Wildcard, 1-0 in the series so far. A win here puts them in the running for a top finish in the NACL spring split. They could crack into that top 3 depending on how the rest of the weekend and next week goes.
Yeah.
AOE still trying to hold on and make sure that they have the same dream in front of them, as Winnie and Rosethorn will spot each other out in the jungle here. Rosethorn really getting aggressive out of him, but Winnie will just walk away.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be okay. Junglers losing health very early on doesn't matter unless it happens really late. And, of course, jungle privilege is a very real thing, as Doxa will be spotting out AOE, going for a bit of an invade, will be denying some easy vision coming through. And nobody on AOE will be able to get some deeper vision outside of the one they got next to the Raptor Pit. So small information advantage going over to AOE, but should not mean a whole lot. Now, with all of this said, the biggest thing we need to see is Zamudo needs to win this matchup. He got what is effectively a counter pick up here on the top side, and we saw that he really struggled in Game 1. This is a pretty good matchup for the Poppy, and we have pretty high expectations for Zamudo based on how he's been able to play so far this split.
Already taking a good trade here onto Quacker, who has Conquerors, though. So he's stacking it up, feeling like the longer the trade goes, the better he's going to do in it, and about even on that one.
He's got more sustain, though, which is the big thing about this matchup, right? He has both the Omni Band from the Doran's Blade, as well as the Q, the Cold and Meek, making sure that you can remain relatively healthy. But at the same time, the other key I really want to look at is how this bottom lane goes. Wixie and Breezy have been a lane that have not lived up to our expectations, and Aaron and Doxa are very used to getting a lot of pressure coming through from Winnie to help them. We saw how much time Winnie was spending on the bottom side of the map last game, and this is something where we can kind of expect it to happen once again.
And when he is passing that direction, Breezy already going early to trade onto Aaron. So trying to get through some of the potions, maybe get through some of the biscuits. So far it's just Doxa on the Melio, keeping him nice and healthy. But Winnie coming down this way means that they can actually try and make a play. If Wixie and Breezy push this wave too far, they could be in trouble. We saw Winnie start up the Raptors, but we're not going to have vision on him if he goes for a gank bot side. So we don't know if he's just going to be farming or looking for something in the lane.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is a pretty big difference based on how you do try and play if you want to be more aggressive. I do kind of want to see this bot lane be a little bit more explosive. I feel as though AOE, based on that last game, should be looking to be more aggressive than what we saw, just because we can now see that Wildcard can bleed them dry the longer this actually goes. But at the same time, I do want to give credit to Quacker. One of the things you always look at about Renekton in different lanes is how well you can bleed your opponent's mana resource when you are a mana-less champion. And so far, Zamudo being able to get off his back, he will be able to teleport in a position where Zamudo will lose control of the lane.
Engage from Breezy at an interesting time. When he is here, we could see some flashes. Ghost from Wixie at the very least. Now we got the stun in on a Breeze. He flashes away, but he's still going down. First blood to Aaron. Well done from Wildcard. Baiting in the Nautilus and hard punishing.
Yeah, really good stuff. You have to know that Winnie's going to be right around the corner around this time. It is about that 3:15 marker where Winnie does show up, and Rostarn still working on the clear, not able to interact with that at all. And this could actually be a double crab going over to Winnie if he goes directly topside. He does not, but still an advantage going over to the bottom side. Aaron picking up the first kill, and we have to know that this bottom lane can skyrocket and will continue to get attention.
It's really surprising to see that Breezy would have gone for that in the first place as Quacker. Okay, that time he gets hit by the Setfest presence. We saw Winnie on the Raptors. We knew he was pathing bot. So by that point, I mean, you got to assume he's either on the scuttle or he's looking for the bot gank. So going for the engage at that exact moment, yeah, Giga punish for that. But either way, you're going to take it if you are Wildcard. Aaron picking up that first blood feels fantastic as he's falling a little bit behind in the CS clear. That's going to make up the difference right there as a Kerchies shard. So a little more burst damage when you go for the Melio trades. Melio gives you that extra range. You can go for the Q auto, and that's a huge chunk on a Wixie's health bar every time.
Oh, for sure. And we will see how effectively Aaron and Doxa can really play with that. The first strike we always love seeing because of the amount of extra money it gives you. But Rostarn going for a bit of an evade, not going to find anything there, but will jump his way out over to the Grubs. Even if you just get the one, you will get that bunch of experience that it does provide. And so as he goes for it, looks like he is trying to set up for multiple of them. Yeah, he's going to be trying to clear all of them, and there's going to be
He saw
no
the smite
response
from Winnie on the Raptors, so I think he's really confident to go for this.
Yeah. At the same time, it is going to be the trade. Wildcard are going to be the second ones to the play, but they will get a Cloud Dragon, which is really, really nice, actually, for this composition, because you love the movement speed on the Volibear, and you love the movement speed on the Lucian in order to slide and dash around. Now, again, I want to go back towards the top side. We were saying that Zamudo really needed to win this game. He made a big name for himself earlier in his career for having some really cool flanks and some really strong laning play. But he's behind Quacker right now, and it's not just a small advantage going over to Quacker. It's actually a pretty large advantage currently at this point in the lane.
Also, we failed to mention playing against his old org technically here, as he is up against Wildcard. So it's more pressure on the player. Not a lot of mana to work with right now. So far, not winning this matchup the way that you set him up that he kind of needed to, given how the draft had worked out. It is instead Quacker getting the better of his lane opponent. Gets a wave shoved in, up about 2 waves of CS. We'll see how much Zamudo is able to catch of that under the turret. But, I mean, I was questioning the Renekton. I wasn't convinced by the Renekton, but
Same.
I think he's starting to convince me now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we knew about Quacker from his time previously is he's got a very specific set of champions that he likes to play, and he's very good at the boosty hook.
Anytime that hook lands on a dog, so it's good news for AOE. They can heavily trade onto that Melio. Wixie also gets a good trade onto Aaron. And Breezy will look for another dredge line right now. Should be off cooldown, but won't find it there.
I also want to point out that while all of that was happening, Winnie was looking for a potential gank top lane, trying to help Quacker get that wave in position that he wants it to be, which is something that is a little bit more in line with what we are used to seeing from Winnie. He really loves going for all of these aggressive plays. Farming is nice, but he really wants to make sure that they can find a lot of these fights. And instead, it's going to be Onat coming down towards the bottom side of the map with the help of Rosethorn to push Aaron and Doxa off of the bottom side, because they should have a good idea that Winnie is top side.
This is the power of the Varus lanes. I know that Lucian Melio got that first blood. They still can duke it out, but if you have hover from a jungler, especially a mid laner, and the wave crashing, you can just keep the Lucian Melio away from the turret. There's not much they can do to prevent you from diving them. So they have to give all the respect in the world back all the way off. That will put Aaron a little bit further behind. Quacker pops Dominus. Keeper's verdict from Zamudo will knock him away. Says, no, I don't want to take this fight.
Wait, Quacker very recently used a teleport. This is a really tough position to be in for Renekton. I actually would love to see Winnie come towards the top side in order to help out his top laner get this crash, because this is a very tough position to be in when you are down HP and down wave position. You can't afford to trade your HP in order to fix your wave position. So, Quacker really needs to try and clear this out or convince Zamudo to push it back to him by making it too dangerous to stick around. And Winnie not moving top to help him out does mean that Quacker is going to struggle, because you see that this freeze has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, Winnie does not help out Quacker crash the wave. Quacker has vision to spot that Breezy's up here, but Breezy clears it out, so now Quacker, he doesn't know where the Nautilus is, doesn't know where the Xin Zhao is walking up here to the wave to just try and get the XP, but really needs that to hit that turret. Luckily, AOE don't seem like they're trying to punish him. He didn't have the ultimate. I actually would have loved it if Zamudo would just spam pinging like, please come. Guys, this is our chance to actually get the crocodile. But instead, we're playing for the bottom half of the map. There's really nothing down here for Rosethorn to look for.
No, I mean, you don't have the vision control. You know that Winnie is down here because you should be able to see him as that ward that just disappeared next to the Gromp. It's a very tough position to try and make anything happen, but I mean, again, we got to give credit to Zamudo, even though he has yet to build that gold lead, does have a big position lead, but finally Zamudo looking to potentially go for a bag or move around the map does mean that Quacker will no longer have this wave frozen against him and can start to play again. So good credit to Zamudo so far. Now the question is, why did he break the freeze? What is he trying to do with the fact that the wave is neutral and he can start playing for priority?
Grubs are up now. Winnie's going for them. We'll spot Winnie on the Grubs. Rosethorn's on the opposite side of the map. I mean, we got the first three. I thought we could prioritize them and try and give some more siege potential to Wixie and Breezy, but seems like Rosethorn's a little off on the timer here, so will not get towards the 5. It's already one taken. Winnie will get a second one before the Xin Zhao can even think about making it there.
Yep. The ward is there. It will be a second one come through, but on the mid lane.
Rosethorn jumps onto Dark Wings, has the back of the Doxa, but the Shockwave will lock Dark Wings into place. Onat with the kill.
Yeah, there you go. You end up trading a kill for the Grubs at the same time. The bottom lane down here, Wixie and Breezy pushing very aggressively and pushing Aaron and Doxa off of the turret. Does mean that the gold lead for Wildcard is continuing to shrink. And Winnie, as he runs all the way around, will not get an opportunity to jump on the mid lane. And I don't think they really can do much of anything on the bottom side as the Shuttlecraft goes down.
Ooh, Quacker takes a lot of damage right there. Winnie looking mid lane. Onat still has the flash available. He's window shopping! Ooh, flash available. Winnie has the ult. Will dunk down on the turret. Stop all that damage from coming through. Can he get onto the Orianna? Flash with the gobble. Will get the kill.
And there you go. I mean, Onat just shopping, like you're saying, not recognizing that the Volibear could be there and recognizing too late that, he's in danger. Wildcard finds that, and then it's at the perfect time to start setting up for this dragon. They clear out the vision, they clear out everything, and now they're going to force Rosethorn to try and jump over the wall if they want to try and contest this.
Onat will be up in 2 seconds, has the teleport available. No shockwave, though. We are teleporting to the Tribe Rush. Good hook to start off onto Aaron. Scares Wildcard away from the dragon now because Breezy, Wixie, Onat approaching from one side, Rosethorn from the other. AOE bully Wildcard off of the dragon.
Wow, very respectful coming out from Wildcard. Again, not what we're used to seeing from this organization. Normally, they would be down to run right on in, but Aaron a little bit low on mana, having no top laner to help out, does mean that Wildcard will be seeding over that dragon, while at the same time giving the plate over to Quacker up on the top side. Ends up being A-okay. The game very even at this point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, dead even right now. 19.5 to 19.5, a dragon to a dragon, but the turrets are about to start falling here because of Aaron. I mean, the kill that happened onto Dark Wings earlier, keep in mind Doxa was there. That's why Aaron had to back all the way off again. 4 plates to Wixie, 4,500 to 4,300. But remember, Aaron got that first blood, and Wixie has not participated in a kill yet. So it's still great to see Wixie ahead in gold here. I think Aaron will get 1 plate back, but the bot lane should fall probably on this next push, or at least on the next reset from Aaron Doxa.
Especially if Rosethorn comes down to help them out at that point. It should be a full committal from AOE to take down that objective. But as we still look around, we do have to note that Winnie is a bit ahead and is going to run headlong into Rosethorn. But Rosethorn has already given up some ground, and Winnie seems to have an idea that Rosethorn is there. Interesting
decision from Rosethorn. I mean, he backs away from Winnie. and then he sticks around to use Wind Become Lightning onto the buff. I mean, like, at that point, I feel like you just have to commit that you're backing off. Are we scared of the Volibear, or do we think we can take him? You got to make a decision at some point, but had the item lead as well. I actually think that Rosethorn with the Sundered Sky could have just bullied Winnie around. I guess I don't know the stat check by heart, so maybe I'm wrong, but either way, Winnie's just fine there. Edgeline misses bot, so they're not going to get the turret on this wave.
Here comes the play, though. Oh.
Chain of Corruption's available. Aaron's got to be careful. Does not have the cleanse. Only the barrier. There's the CC chain, but the Breath of Life will keep him up, keep him auto-attacking, which he's doing a little bit more when he was nearby. I think that's why Wildcard were confident to take that, but Rosethorn and Onat are also here, so that will be the turret finally falling. AOE, their bot lane has been putting in a lot of work in down here, and they will reap the rewards.
Yeah, we saw a bit of a scuffle break out immediately beforehand, but Onat and Rosethorn were already on the way as Winnie jumps in on the enemy Xin Zhao, but they don't really have the damage to go for any of these prolonged fights right now, and it is going to be a big advantage coming out for Wixie and Breezy, which is much needed for this bottom lane. For a bottom lane that had, again, so much expectations riding on how well they would be performing based on the return of Wixie and Breezy having some of his best competitive splits ever last year, not necessarily living up to that level of performance, and this is the kind of performance they really need to see as I start heading towards playoffs.
Especially considering game one was kind of the opposite. It was Aaron getting the lead early on through that, answered invade. Quacker roaming down into the bottom jungle, and Aaron getting all the kills. This time Wixie on Varus on blue side, not the kills, but still the gold lead. I actually want to take another look at that, Josh. Has the button worked for you yet?
It has not, unfortunately.
It's okay, button dysfunction.
There we go.
We got the here we go. Wixie does have a 700 lead over Aaron currently.
It's nice, but it shouldn't be a make or break, right? Nobody here has a make or break style lead, as we see that the overall gold lead is bang on even at about 300 or 100 gold going over to AOE. There is actually a surprisingly large lead coming through from Quacker, so once again finding the better of Zamudo in this matchup, and it's not supposed to be a great matchup coming through, but Wildcard will be late to go to the Rip Guard if they want to go for it at all, and AOE, I feel like they're doing a really good job actually changing the fortune of this game around, considering how passively it felt that they were playing game one.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Almost just gets destroyed by Darkwings. We're talking about the Renekton into the Poppy. Well, Poppy doesn't necessarily like being in the Hui lane. You can't really get on top of the Hui, and he will just Giga outrange you.
Yep. And he just fears you if you ever jump in on top of him, but Quacker loves being in the Onat lane.
Yeah, Onat does have the shockwave, flashes away. Winnie's still here, has the ultimate to shut down the turret, and that is a dead Orianna on my screen if ever I've seen one. Winnie with the kill credit.
Did Winnie auto-attack something else to splash lightning to Onat? That would be really cool if that's what they end up doing, but it's a perfect time yet again. Onat dies right before the dragon a second time in a row, and Quacker made the flash, not Winnie. So it does mean that Wildcard can potentially try and play for a dragon again, but they ceded ground last time.
Okay, we're trying to lock down the escape from Wixie. Teleport coming in, though. That's a Poppy on the flank. They already killed Aaron. Chain of Corruption turning from Wixie. Flashes the wall, but Winnie's going to run him down. Woo! Wixie's in trouble. Winnie with the shutdown. Wixie thought he had it. He thought he had the space, but the big old bear does have the damage for himself. Darkson with the snipe onto Zamudo, and everybody else from Wildcard can't get away. Never mind, Dredgeline from Breezy will keep the fight going. Quacker in trouble. Flash forward from Rosethorn. Darkwings has such a massive shield, and Rosethorn just doesn't have the damage. When becomes lightning, Audacious Shard still falls to Quacker.
Quacker played that fight so well coming in when he did, and then body blocking for Darkwings over and over again during that fight, making sure skill shots could not get to him. Wildcard, yet again, even though they're taking this fight a little bit recklessly, the fact that they are still playing in a more controlled fashion is a good look for a team that we have said is just a complete wild card. You don't know what you're going to be pulling off the top of the deck. Are you going to get heads? Are you going to not? It is every single time we've seen them go for something this game, it has been way more controlled than anything they've done in the past.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call that one controlled, but it still comes out ahead for them. It started I hope that we are going all the way back here. This starts bad for Wildcard.
It does. This is the part that's not.
No!
That's pretty funny.
Do it like that.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, it starts off really rough, but then when they actually start building up their front to back style team fight, like we have said that they don't tend to do, it becomes really good. Now I want to point out how Quacker creates space for Darkwings here, because he immediately, as soon as he sees Nautilus coming around, he tries to block any opportunity for a hook, and he is tanky enough that he is not going to die quickly in these fights. And then he continues to use the body to go around and make sure that Rosestar has to hit him as much as possible. So I really liked watching Rosestar winning that last fight.
As we go back to live, Shockwave buffered by Winnie. The Herald's dropped and the turret falls. So, I mean, the replay is cool to see Wildcard get the gold lead, to get the Dragon, to get the bot turret. But as we come back to live, it also feels good for AOE to get something on the map, despite the fact that the last play went a little sideways for them.
Yeah, and we do have to recognize that AOE does have a lot of play late into this game. It will become a Hui angle for Wildcard later on, but in the meantime, Lucian and Hui will be doing quite a bit. Renekton also still very strong because he was able to build a lead, and now Wildcard, they should have the run of the map for a while. They can play for the next Dragon. They should still be stronger then. Now, one thing we know about Wildcard, Winnie loves calling for Baron plays whenever he thinks his opponents are not warding it. And that is something that Wildcard, even though they don't do it the fastest, if they get the sense that too many people have recalled at the wrong time from AoE, you should be expecting a sneak to come from this roster.
But if I'm hearing you right there, it sounds like you might be favoring AoE a little bit in terms of a scaling game. Do I got that read right? Or actually, do we even have time to talk? Yeah, we're not out of it.
Yeah. I definitely feel as though the later this game goes, the better it becomes for AoE. So Wildcard do need to use the next several minutes. They have until about, I'd guess, about like 28 minutes before AoE scaling becomes too much of an issue, as long as we don't see AoE flip a couple fights.
Sure. Well, AoE getting engaged in their own jungle, but now they're turning it back around. I mean, they'll take the throw. Wildcard pitch it. Doxa following up on Winnie's invade. Sometimes you flip heads, sometimes you flip tails, you know?
It is what it is, but that's all right, right? It's not the end of the world if we get one. Not hands, I swear to God.
It's going to be
it's got to be hands.
Every time. Watch.
It is, it's hands. They always have hands?
But it's not the one with like the wide lane then, right? Yeah. Well, there it is.
Maybe I just hate the new Baron. I think that's what I'm learning.
I thought that
I swear some of them didn't have hands, but, you know.
Kai, our observer's calling us crazy right now, saying, no, they all got hands. So I guess, maybe you see what you want to see. Y'all know what Cubby wants to see. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not good. Not good. Either way.
All right, well, as we catch back up into what's actually happening in the game, Winnie's back to farming. It seems like we're in a bit of a lull state where everyone's just getting assigned to new lane positions. So while I run those down, Josh, I want you to think about what the next play could be. It's Hui top lane, Lucian mid, Renekton bot, and everybody being answered by their lane opponent from the side of AoE.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. The biggest thing for Wildcard is you want to start building up advantages that your opponent cannot come back from. And Quacker waiting for his move to back away. The Mountain Soul and the Mountain Dragon is an advantage that your opponent will never have. And that is something where I want to see Wildcard play for it. They should be stronger at this next Dragon. They should be able to get that one. The question becomes, do they build enough of a lead before their fourth Dragon? Dragon 5 of the game, where Wildcard will start needing to ask, are they still far enough ahead to make it happen? Now, Wildcard are taking some really good positions. Again, they're setting up a situation where they can actually go for some of these front to backs in order to make these fights happen, which is another evolution of the way that Wildcard would normally have played this game.
Everybody grouped up. Doxa with Winnie in front of him, although currently Winnie actually walks away while Darkwings and Doxa were maybe in a position to get caught right there. But I like the approach of just have the bear with all the shields and damage behind him, walk forward, get the wards down. The force out of control ward, very shallow for AoE. Not giving them a lot of forward vision as of right now, but they do just walk up, find Winnie. He's got an ult over the wall. That's really big for AoE. That's a long cooldown that Wildcard will not have for the Dragon fight.
That's a lot of pressure taken off of Onat and Wixie. Oh, a teleport coming through from Quacker. He's teleporting behind. This is big. This is a good setup.
He spotted them. They just dropped the ward, and now they engage forward. They say, hey, we got a 5v4. Let's just take it. No shockwave needed, by the way. Onat still has it available. It was all for Wixie, who flashes forward. Keeper's Verdict knocks away Quacker on the flank. Aaron's in trouble. There's no peel left around for Wildcard, and AoE are going to take all the space given to them, force their way through as a 5v4, win the fight, go to the Baron.
Looks like we're going to game 3 here, Kangas. You got one more game of the regular season. So AoE taking complete control of that last fight, and the deep lane coming through from Quacker. somebody must have been looking, right? That does not show up on your mini-map unless you are directly looking at it in the fog of war. Fantastic play coming through from AOE to spot that out, make sure that they can get the Baron, and because they have the teleport come through from Zamudo, they will be in time to play for this dragon as well. This was supposed to be when Wildcard had the tools to go for all their fights, but Aaron ends up getting jumped on. Winnie losing that ultimate means he doesn't have the extra HP or the escape for that fight, and now Wildcard are in a really tough position because they're getting to this next dragon late.
And Quacker's a little out of position himself right now. Flashes forward, stunned into the wall. Rosethorn's here. But Become Lightning's not in range, so Quacker gets out, but as you use the Summoner spell cooldown, and the team doesn't get really anything for it save a mid lane push. AOE are ready to take the dragon. Onat will just hit the wave initially, still has the shockwave available. Now we're jumping onto Winnie. Does have the ultimate available now. Can he even get it off? He is chain CC to death! Cannot even press his R button. Quacker can as he's over the wall, but the shockwave pulls back in alongside Doxa. That's the squishy Melio who's just trying to help out his poor Renekton. And a shutdown to Zamudo. Another team fight win to AOE. Even Aaron will fall. Darkwing's the last member left. AOE win back-to-back fights. This time they'll get the dragon.
And this one was not close at all. We'll take a quick look at this replay. And Quacker once again looking for a bit of a flank, but Winnie dying too quickly. Wow. The front line collapsing here for the side of Wildcard, and AOE do a really good job. Also catching Doxa in that shockwave does mean that he has to run. He has to pop the ultimate right away, and it means that Rosethorn, who has been kind of untalked about, is consistently hitting these entire fights, allowing Onat and Wixie to follow him up for even more damage. But great stuff coming through from AOE. We are seeing that they are playing the more standard version of League of Legends, and it's allowing them to dismantle Wildcard.
Onat hitting that double shockwave was a thing of beauty. Very impressed with the Orianna team fighting so far. Wixie as well, chaining the chains of corruption onto Winnie. It was a headbutt into the wall from Poppy, a dredge line, a depth charge, a chain of corruption. He could not move or press R, but everybody has to hit their abilities and chain their CC correctly. Impressive that AOE was able to pull that off, and with the Baron buff, with the Dragon buff, now they can start taking down these turrets. They're going to equalize the turrets 3-3. Now they have a gold lead. And like you said, it seems like a Game 3 could be on the horizon here. We might have a 6-game day as AOE look to reverse the series.
Yeah, and we are now seeing Wildcard go back to one of the things we are so used to seeing them do. Whenever they are at a disadvantage in pushing, they push really hard on the other side of the map to at least trade some gold. It's okay to give up objectives as long as you're getting something right on back, but this time they're not able to match the top lane turret for the bottom lane turret, and Wildcard are just going to be allowing this massive wave to stack up next to their own inhibitor.
I just don't love it when there's a Baron buff on the enemy team. Like, you are not going to out-trade them in the push. They're trying to defend under their inhibitor turrets. And yet again, when he cannot press R, he is just CC'd for an eternity and goes down. I agree with you that we see Wildcard do this a lot. What I don't agree with is the decision from Wildcard. They're trying to have a Hwei split push in the side lane while they're losing all their top turrets. And then by the time they're ready to defend, they're a little out of sorts. AOE now with a 4,500 gold lead. This game is in their control. It's looking like theirs to win, theirs to lose.
Oh, yeah. I have to imagine that the gold graph looks absolutely wild, considering Wildcard was ahead about 4,000 gold at about the 20-minute mark, right? That is an 8,000 gold swing over only about 6 minutes. That is a massive lead coming through for AOE that generated basically off of nothing. We are starting to see all the carries are starting to build up pretty significant gold advantages. Onat and Wixie doing a ton of damage because they are being allowed to free hit during these fights because neither Aaron nor Darkwings is allowed to hit Rosethorn. It means that Onat and Wixie can hit whoever they want in these upcoming fights.
AOE now continue the siege down into the bottom lane. This is the last tier 2 turret for them to take. And they have the wave to do it. I think that was Zamudo tanking up all those shots, by the way. I'm pretty sure that he's missing some health, but that's just the King of Rukrun making it not realizable. But that's just how tanky this champion is here. Yeah. Wildcard are going to have to defend at the inhibitor turrets if they can defend at all. 2 minutes till Dragon, a minute 20 till Baron. So it's looking like that Baron could be the next location for action. Wildcard are thinking about chasing Zamudo here, but it's going to take so long to get to him. When he wants to commit, though, Zamudo does not have the keeper, or the steadfast presence rather, because he'd used it to try and run away. Winnie does get on top of him. Quacker and Doxa are here. How quickly can we kill Zamudo? It's back.
Abort, abort.
Throws away Winnie, and now the rest of AOE have rejoined. We did not kill Zamudo fast enough, and I think that we are going to regret that. As Quacker goes down, teleport from Monad, AOE are ready to fight. Zamudo's still alive as he flashes to safety. Shockwave onto air, and everybody from Wildcard are falling like dominoes. Looking like a couple of ding-dongs en route to the Bell Factory. AOE take the fight. Gonna teleport out of Doxa. This should just be the game. And it looks like we're going to a game 3 if AOE can close this one out. They don't have a wave behind them, though. Actually, no, they do. They got the cannon minion. 20 seconds on Winnie, 24 on Aaron. Is this it?
It should be it. AOE are pushing on in. They have some tanky members. They are already going to be taking down this first structure. And again, 15 seconds before anyone is up, Winnie can try and come through, but doesn't even have the ultimate.
It's over. 5 seconds for Winnie. Everybody's hitting the Nexus turrets. 5 members for AOE strong, and they will bounce back in the series, bringing us to game 3, and still fighting for their playoff seeding.
Good stuff coming through for AOE to bounce back in that last game. It was a game that they were playing from behind. The things that we were looking at, we still saw Quacker was beating Zamudo, but this time Onat stepped up, and Rosethorn also stepped up as well. And Wix and Breezy, also probably the biggest evolution that we saw from game 1 to game 2 was Wix and Breezy were winning their lane this time, and that gives them the momentum necessary to take us to a third game.
Incredible stuff from AOE to reverse their fortunes. It seemed like it was going to be a 2-0, but we get that third game of the series. We're going to send it to a short break before we're back to see who's able to take it right after this.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or a churro, and probably not a pretzel either. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. To which we said, but we already made them. And they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
For sure, it's going to be Kaisa, because that's been my day 1 champ. Ever since the champ came out, I've been one-tricking it, and I just like the champ a lot.
Maybe a Lucian skin. I really like Lucian, and he's got some cool skin, so Lucian skin for sure.
I would probably choose Fiora or Yone, actually. Something like my name in the recall, something like that. Some way to like be immortalized inside of the game.
I mean, for sure, Graves. I think any jungler would say Graves. If I had to be different, nah, I'm taking Graves all the way. Graves is already like representing, but like it don't need to do no more. Just keep everything the same. Keep it like a pool party scene. You know what I'm saying? Keep it like a pool party scene.
I mean, off the top of my head, a few of my signature champs, I guess, are like the Tryndamere, the Akshan, the Yone, maybe a little bit of Vigar from last year. I feel like not many people play those champs. I would go with Yone because he's really popular, so I would see like a bunch of people using my skin basically. It would feel pretty cool.
I'll choose Wukong because I like monkeys. You know, there's the meme with the gorilla spinning. That's people say it's the Wukong ult, something like that. He spins in like a really funny way. Maybe if they do it like that.
I would have to choose Tristana because she's my most played champion, and I feel like it can make a cool animation with the explosions, especially with like the rock boom, you know. So there could be something special with that.
Who is my biggest supporter? It's definitely Joshi, because even when I was like super fresh, he was still like putting me in like all pro teams for some reason, even when I was inting. So I'll shout out or say he's my biggest supporter.
Hell yeah. Definitely my girlfriend. She watches all the games. She's in the Twitch chat all the time. Maybe you've seen a suspicious looking name there, but yeah, shout out to my girlfriend.
I would say my biggest supporter is my dad. He watches like all my matches. When I went to like try to go pro, I was working with him, and he was like, just quit, you know, because I was useless, and also because he wanted to like see me go pro.
Definitely my dad or my cousin, Ryan. And my dad watches all my games, so like, that's all you gotta do, you know.
My biggest supporter would definitely be my family, especially my brothers too. They're the reason I play this game. They're the reason I've been so dedicated to this game. And they've always pushed me to be better, so I love my brothers for that. And then my parents, mom and dad, always helping me out.
My dad was always there to say like, you know, like as long as you're gonna try your best and you want to do what you want to do, like I think it's good for you. And he's always been the guy to sort of like talk to my parents about letting me try my options out. So yeah.
Definitely my dad.
Definitely have to be my parents. They've enabled me to do a lot of things I wouldn't have been able to do without them. And the reason that I'm still playing is because of them. So, just the opportunities they give me. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't be in the same place I am now if I wasn't set up for success.